Hey guys, it's time to get started. It's Bollox Talks and Tangents. I got my man Lenny in the studio. We're drinking Blue Run Kentucky Straight. Blue Run Kentucky Straight.
Bardstown, right?
We've opened this before, but it must be so good we drank it and we forgot about it.
That's how good it was.
Because I don't remember it, but have you already sipped or I haven't sipped?
No, I'm ready to go.
Okay, let's sip it up. I got more in my mustache than I did in my mouth.
Save it for later.
Right there. That's a little flavor saver there. All right.
Ooh,
Yeah.
95 proof, not bad. Little sweet.
Yeah. It's sweet and spicy.
Mm-hmm.
So
Bardstown, hand bottled in Bardstown.
There you go.
That must get very messy.
Yeah. Yeah. Just pour it in with a little funnel.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a solid.
It's good, yeah.
Solid bourbon.
It's a little light.
Yeah.
A little light.
It's a gentlemen's and ladies.
There you go.
There's no burn to it.
No.
No burn to it.
A little bit,
whatsoever.
but yeah, call it midweight.
Yeah. So midweight. I think it's lightweight. So
Okay.
I'm going to go with lightweight on it.
As long as you're not calling me a lightweight, we're fine.
No, I would never call you a lightweight.
No, I know how much I weigh. I got on the scale today at the doctor's office. And I got news for you. I like their scale better than my scale at home. Hey, it's
really?
3 pounds less.
It was 3 pounds less.
At the doctor's office, I was
pretty
impressed.
much have stopped getting on the scale.
Well, I cheat. I take everything out of my pockets. I take my shoes off. I leave all my keys and everything in the car.
I only weigh myself naked. I know that's a
Well, I do that in the morning.
I know that's a horrible visual for everyone out there, and now you've thrown yours in there too. Now
they're really scared.
Now they got both of them locked in.
Now they're just quivering in a corner someplace.
So,
poor audience.
I only weigh myself at home, and it's pretty much. Should I weigh myself before I go into the shower or after I go in the shower?
I do it after.
Do I absorb any water? I know it doesn't get caught up in my hair.
It depends on how dirty you are. You could be washing off pounds of dirt.
Oh, I don't think I've ever gotten that dirty since I've been in my 50s.
Okay.
So there's probably times before then.
But I do it after the shower. It's my ritual.
Okay.
Shower, weigh myself, jot it down to keep a record. And
you do keep a record?
I do. Yeah, I write it down every day.
Yeah.
Which is, I can tell if I have friends in town or we go out to a nice meal, I'm up 2 pounds, and then the next day I'm back down a pound. So.
Yeah. No, I last year and a half, I went from 155 to 170 pretty quick.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty quick in a year and a half. That's a lot of weight in a year and a half. So,
if I could get to 170 without having to cut off my left leg, I'd be a very happy man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was locked in at about 145 for about 25 years.
I would be feeding you crackers just to keep you healthy.
Yeah. So and then I stayed at like 150 for a while, and then I had a very stressful part of my life, and I dropped down to 138, and I looked like I was going to die.
Oof.
I look like
a little emaciated.
I just came from Auschwitz.
Counted your ribs?
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, at one point, like when I was in really good shape, when I was staying at 145, I had about 2 to 4% body fat.
See, that's nice.
Yeah. Well, it's nice until something bad happens.
Well, there you go, and you go.
Then it gets unhealthy very quickly.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Speaking of being unhealthy, these places are where you go. These places are where you go when you want a good meal, a good healthy meal, and you start at Kaiser's Deli and Market.
Baby. I'll be stopping in tomorrow.
Best deli in town. I'm telling you right now, it doesn't get any better than Kaiser's over there, and I haven't been there in about 3 weeks, and I got to go see my man Kurt.
Yep. Missed him Tuesday. He was trying to entice us back to the deli for an after trivia conversation, but I had too many lovely people in the car with me, so we had to come home.
Yep, and you guys won.
We did. We're back.
You won.
We're back.
Won. So, all right. We had a great meal at this location, and you were there last night. We were there on Monday, right, Blake? Mm-hmm. Meehan's Irish Pub. Mm-hmm. Always just a wonderful meal. Blake did the secret hack.
He went for the children's chicken
tenders,
right? Fried chicken.
And then he did the mac and cheese side.
Yeah.
So on top of that, and they're. What are the truffle fries? What are the fries that we had?
No, they're Irish chips.
The Irish chips.
Irish chips. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I could have eaten
little Parmesan and parsley sprinkled on top.
I could have eaten a whole barrel of those.
I did. That's what I actually had when we were there.
That was your entire.
Yeah. We were there Monday afternoon. You were there Monday evening. We were there Monday afternoon. And just for you at home, they just celebrated their 15th anniversary. And it is as good now as the day it opened, maybe even better.
I think it's better.
Because they just run a brilliant place.
perfected it. Congratulations, Reggie, and the entire crew over there. Very proud of you guys, and you guys are still absolutely rocking it. Also on Sponsor Row, we have the St. Augustine Pirate Museum. Just still crushing it every day. Wonderful people over there. Amazing place. If you have not taken your friends that come to visit to the Pirate Museum, you need to make sure you make that happen.
Mandatory.
And you will not be disappointed in any way, shape, or form.
Fascinating, fun stuff.
All right, St. Augustine Distillery. And St. Augustine Distillery.
I'm laughing because they got fascinating, fun stuff there, too.
Yeah, they have amazing stuff. Where's your cigar?
Right here, baby.
All right.
I'm big. I'm in.
We have a St. Augustine Distillery cigar, the Spirit of Florida, Certi Fresh cigar, and it's called the Saint Premium Cigar, named after their bourbon, the Saint.
Yep.
And it is by Rocky Patel.
Who's a good cigar maker.
He is an excellent cigar maker. So congratulations. If you want to try a St. Augustine Distillery cigar, get over there. They have these in the gift shop over there.
Very nice.
And I'm excited to try her out.
This is not, as my friend would say, a dog walker. This is a real live cigar.
I could hit 300 with this thing.
Yeah, really. A dog walker is, one that you take your dog for a walk, like a little Robusto or something that you can get in a good dog walk. Yeah, this one would take a little more time. This is pretty.
This is more of an Appalachian Trail.
There you go.
So no, that's
or 18 holes.
That's a big one right there.
Yeah.
So I didn't. Do you smoke cigars when you play golf?
Yeah, but what I also do is I also have Julie got me a cigar holder for the golf course, which is it's a combination divot repair, ball mark repair for the green, and then a bed to put your cigar on, because you really don't want to drop it on the ground and pick it back up because all the fertilizers they use on the golf course. Yeah. So you need to keep your cigar off of the ground.
Grow a third arm or something.
Well, that might help my golf game.
Yeah, it might. So in a lot of different ways. All right. Definitely last but not least, these guys right here, Abare, Kresge and Associates, the best accountants in town. I talked to Billy today, just a wonderful guy. We had a good laugh. Trying to get him come back to trivia. He took care of Walking Man for this year, the filing of it and everything.
Nice.
So appreciate them and everything they do for us. And he also took care of Coquina Coast Realty, which is our next sponsor.
Right.
And if you oh gosh, sorry.
Pardon you.
Blue Run just ran right out. Whew. Like, how did that sound on in the microphone?
Disgusting.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, good
Sorry
to
about
know.
that. Yeah. Sorry about that. That one just slipped on out. But Coquina Coast Realty, if you have any commercial needs, residential needs, any of those items, give me a call at 904-669-7901. That's 904-669-7901.
Okay.
All right.
I want to circle back to one of our sponsors on Sponsor Row, because I can't forget my peach whiskey makers, Citygate Spirits.
Oh, yeah. We started
Love
talking
them,
about
love
cigars,
them a lot.
and I got
Exactly.
distracted.
I know.
I got distracted.
I know, but I will not forget about that peach whiskey, which goes great in iced tea. But now I got to put it in like an Arnold Palmer. Yeah.
Lemonade.
Yeah.
You got to try it
For
out.
sure.
Yeah, but we'll say though that your burp definitely sounds a lot better than Mike trying to defend Trump.
Oh, okay. Well, the defense of him is.
I'll just sit over here and behave myself right about now. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We're trying not to go. 2 weeks ago, we got in an argument, so we're not going to go politics.
I
And
don't
maybe
think so.
we will.
Yeah.
Some of the ones on there might have some political ties to
A
them.
couple, but nothing bad that I found.
No. So we're talking last words, but before we do that, we're talking origins of words or origins of phrases.
Okay.
So I'm going to let you go first.
Oh, I was going to let you go first.
Okay. Well, mine kind of leads in.
Mine does too.
Okay. All right. Then I'll go first.
You know me. I try to link these things up, baby.
Yeah. Well, mine does too, and it's called dead as a doornail.
Okay.
All right. So dead as a doornail, it links all the way back to the 1300s.
Ooh,
all right.
it's older than mine.
And a doornail, you would hammer in the doornail about halfway, and then you'd bend it.
Okay.
So that means it's not usable anymore. All right. So doornails were kind of dead to the rest of the world, where like other nails were very, very valuable. If you moved, like if you were in the West and you moved,
Right.
you would burn your house down and then you'd sift through to keep the nails. They were that valuable.
Right.
All right. But doornails were never usable again.
But what was the purpose of that? Why would you whack them in half?
You didn't whack them in half. You bent them
I know,
over.
I'm following that, yeah.
They had a big head on them, and then you whacked them over to lock them in place so that it wouldn't.
So then the head would go in the wood there, the cap of the head.
So that a doornail was different than other nails. It kind of has a big square head on it, and then it whacked in, and you whacked that into the wood also to kind of lock it more into place. Well, it came around in about the 1300s, dead as a doornail, like they're not usable anymore. But it wasn't popular until the 1500s. You know who made it popular?
The Crusaders.
Nope, old Willie.
Oh, Willie Nelson? God, he's old. I know that. I didn't think he was that old.
No, his younger brother, Shakespeare.
We haven't brought him up in weeks. Holy cow.
I know. So I don't know if I've ever used this one before. You guys weren't sure. You felt like I might have used it, but I felt like it was appropriate for this show. And then it appears again in a very, very popular Dickens story called A Christmas Carol.
Okay.
So
not dormouses, doornails.
Doornail.
Okay.
Dead as a doornail.
Okay.
So it had to do with them not being usable again, where other nails were usable again if you could recycle them.
Okay, that makes good sense.
So
all right.
What you got?
I got death knell.
Death nail?
Knell. No. You have the nail. I got the knell.
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 So in the words of Dudley Do-Right, Nell.
No, that's Nell. Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right.
I don't know what you're saying.
Or horse. Right.
All right.
Death knell. Knell.
Knell.
Right, which is the tolling of a bell to alert people that somebody had passed away.
Death knell.
Death knell.
Okay.
There's other things. So
I didn't know that term. Like,
Yep.
did you know that term?
No.
Okay. Thank you for using the microphone.
all right. So a death knell.
They can hear me say no. It just unfortunately,
We can't.
yes.
Was it no or yes? Now you're confusing me. You're giving missed messages.
I don't know which one he said.
I know,
I
I'm very
did say
confused.
it. Barbara Jean, you're in the comments. Say if you heard me say no the first time, put in the comments.
Yeah.
Okay, so a death knell, bells would ring. Now, they started originally to scare away evil spirits. They'd ring the bells when somebody died. And that evolved into the tolling of a bell to mark somebody's passing or death. And it would be, again, unequal representation, but it would be 2 times 3 bells for a woman passing away, 3 times 3 bells for a man passing away, and then they would add a peal of the bell for every year the person lived.
Oh, wow.
Fortunately, those days people didn't live that long, so it wasn't that drawn out.
Betty White died, they'd still be ringing bells.
Pretty much. And that came into the lexicon as death knell. I mean, the process was Old English for years and years and years to scare away the evil spirits. But the concept of the death knell came into the lexicon in 1773.
Oh, okay.
Now, contemporarily...
That's fairly recent.
Yeah.
In some of our...
Just a little bit older than our country.
Yeah. And a little bit younger than
Me.
Willie Nelson.
Right, exactly. But also, it could mean, a death knell could mean impending destruction, imminent destruction. Some people thought that CDs were the death knell for vinyl or things of that nature. It was a portent. Right.
They were the death knell for cassettes.
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
So, unless you're a deadhead. And then you got to move them onto CDs because you got your all your bootleg tapes or tapes. Then you got to still have to have a cassette player to play your bootleg tapes.
Okay.
And that's a challenge. I had to buy a CD player, a little CD rack for my garage because I've got hundreds of CDs that I don't have a CD player in the house. And now you turn on Pandora or Spotify and you do it that way. But in my garage, when I'm working in the garage,
who owns the rights to a lot of the Grateful Dead stuff?
It could be them, or it could be Arista. They recorded for Arista for a while, but I think the band has their own. I think the band has it.
How many surviving members are there?
We have 4 left. We've got Mickey Hart and Billy Kreutzmann, Bob Weir, and that's all we got left. 3, because Phil Lesh just passed away. So the original.
I think I met Lesh and Weir.
Okay.
I think they did a performance at the amphitheater back in. I know Weir did. Back into Blake, if you don't mind, check Bob Weir and St. Augustine Amphitheater.
With who did he play?
Yeah,
with Rat Dog?
So before I do want to say right now, global publishing rights of Grateful Dead goes to Warner Chappell Music, so Warner Brothers, and then Rhino Records manages the band's trademarks and release materials from their archives.
I know they recorded for Arista for a while as well.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers, it was their early stuff when they did Working Man's Dead and American Beauty, I believe, were Warner Brothers records. I may be mistaken, but not. Who did he play with? Rat Dog?
I don't remember. It might
Bob
have been
Weir and Rat Dog.
Sorry?
Did you find it?
Bob Weir and Rat Dog. They were supposed to be performing August 24th in 2014, but they canceled that.
There you go.
They did cancel.
See?
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I would.
I think they were there earlier though.
2014. That was just before we got here, too. Yeah. Yeah, he would do Stipe Peace. He could have him in with Wolf Brothers. That'd be perfect. They played down in Fort Lauderdale, and I think, and we could probably get him. Talk to Gabe, see if you can get him, because I think he winters in Florida because he does a lot of New Year's Eve stuff around Fort Lauderdale. Okay. So let him drive up.
Okay. No, I'm pretty sure I remember meeting Bob Weir at some point.
Yep.
I think it was before-
Got.
It had to be before 14 because I've been at the amphitheater since 2012.
Right.
So.
Damn.
What-
July 19th. July 19th, 2009.
Okay.
Okay.
All
Well.
right.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had to be.
With which band?
Rat Dog.
was
Okay.
Rat
And
Dog
slash Mo.
Okay.
And Mo. I didn't know Mo was around in 2009.
And
That's
who's the
impressive.
gentleman who just passed?
Phil Lesh.
Was Phil Lesh with him, or do you know?
No, he's not in Rat Dog. Rat Dog was one of Bob Weir's spin-off bands. Phil Lesh
Okay.
didn't play in Rat Dog.
Yeah. So Phil Lesh, Phil Lesh would have been with?
Phil Lesh.
Okay.
Phil and Friends. Phil didn't start. Yeah,
Phil
he
and
would play.
Friends? Okay.
He would play in his Turtle Crossing in the Bay Area, but he didn't start doing that until much later, I don't believe.
Yeah, and you're
he
way-
didn't have side projects as much as Bob Weir.
on the hippie music side, you're way ahead of me. But I knew I met Bob Weir.
Right.
So I remember people I met. So I knew
Okay,
I met
yeah,
him.
yeah.
So I knew he had to be there before 2012.
All right,
Thank
all right.
you, Blake, for finding that.
All right,
I was
then,
going a little
all
crazy.
right, let's see if you remember your bands. Who played on October 11, 2009?
As a hippie man,
It can be any band.
I don't think he was here yet. When did you get here?
2009. We got here in 15. We've only been here
Yeah.
10 years.
But no. Guess the band that played on October 11, 2009.
Was it a hippie band?
No.
Okay,
And
that's
what's the
impossible to do. There's
and
no
what's
way.
the significance of October 11th, 2009?
Yeah. Who was it?
Third Day.
Third Day? Okay. I don't even know who that is.
There's significance to
Yeah.
this that I'm not appreciating.
What's the significance of that?
Nothing.
Okay.
Oh, well, for those of you playing at home, well, okay, thank you very much. I feel
You can't just
better.
throw out a random date. I don't know. I mean, I talked about Kid Rock today, and I don't even know exactly what
When he
day
played, yeah.
I know he was I'm pretty sure he was in 2008.
October 3rd, 2008.
Yeah, and it was like the one that really changed everything for us.
Yeah.
So I knew it was 2008, but that if you had to nail me down to even a month,
Oh.
I don't think I would have nailed it down.
The caliber of the bands that play there for the size of the amphitheater that it is phenomenal. The calendar that they put up every year. I mean, you're talking, as you call them, hippie bands or jam bands.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a lot of country. You've got comedians, and you've got high-end comedians at $100 a seat. Good for them. Sebastian Maniscalco, what do you sell? 2 shows? 3? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You've got quasi-classical stuff. You've got a lot of country. You've got a lot of, I'm going to see Diana Ross, just because.
That's supreme.
Yeah. And I have to tell you.
Make sure you go whiz before you go there. Too many?
Blake, take him home.
Too many? Might
Yeah,
be too
that's
many.
it. That's
Might
it.
be too many.
But, I appreciated the fact that when she awarded Kendrick Lamar the best album of the year at the Grammys, he recognized her as Diana Ross, and he bowed down to her, and he said, and I'm paraphrasing, that's frickin' Diana Ross. So the fact that Kendrick Lamar acknowledged her with that respect and that adulation,
No
I would
respect
think.
was Aretha Franklin.
Blake,
What?
can
Yes.
you shut off his microphone, please?
What'd I say? What'd I say? No, but Diana Ross. I mean, I think.
That's why I'm doing it.
I think. I mean, that's one of those legends.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
It's I consider it a musical obligation.
All right. Speaking of legends in music, and I'm going to start directly with this one.
Okay.
Legends in music. George Harrison. Did you have him on your list at all?
George Harrison was born on my birthday. Actually, he's older than me, but I'm still alive. I was born on his birthday.
All right. George Harrison's last words. Do you know what George Harrison's last words were?
Help! Oh no, that was an album
Need
cover.
somebody.
Right.
No, it was actually love one another. And then he passed away.
Okay.
I mean, what? I mean, of all the ones on that list, the rest of them have some funny, quirky stuff to them. Some of them have some, okay, I kind of get that. But of all the nicest last words that I had on my list, George Harrison's really stood out.
Yeah.
So, and he was the first one after the Beatles broke up to have a #1 hit as a solo artist.
Yeah.
So,
because he was born on my birthday.
yeah, that was 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
absolutely. It's we Pisces.
Yeah.
And it's coming up too, February 25th.
February 25th.
Yeah, end of the month. You want to say in music?
Yeah, it's got to stick with music, and we'll see if we can transition over.
Okay, we can. Oh, there's ways to hook this all over the place. All right, so we can do stupid. There is a rhythm and blues singer by the name of Johnny Ace, who in 1954 was on stage playing with a pistol, saying, "I'll show you this gun's never gonna work." Those are famous last words, because he's dead now.
Yeah.
Shot himself.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Yep. So what other music one do you have? You have another music one?
Frank Sinatra.
Okay, what's Frank's?
I'm losing it. I've seen two quotes. One is I'm losing it, and one is I'm just losing.
Okay.
Then you got Buddy Rich.
So Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
The first time I went to Yankee Stadium was the day after Frank Sinatra had passed.
Okay.
It might have been maybe 2 days after. It was definitely that week. And Andy Pettitte, they were playing the Twins. So Andy Pettitte was pitching that game. They did not win. They lost to the Twins. I got to see Molitor at that time. So it was in 97. Had to be in 97. I think Sinatra's death was in 97. I'm pretty sure it was 97. Blake, check and see when. Make sure my
Blue Eyes
my
died.
dates are,
Yeah.
What my dates are right.
May 14th, 1998 is when Frank Sinatra died.
98. So I was
Same.
off by a year.
Close enough.
And now, Blake, check and see when David Wells threw a perfect game.
May 17th, 1998.
Okay, 2 days later, the perfect game. Okay, so I was 2 days early before the perfect game. I got caught in traffic. There was a parade in New York, and I was coming. I was running a huge tournament, like a Northeast tournament at Mitchell Field.
Yeah.
In Long Island, Nassau. Is it Nassau?
No, it's in Brooklyn, actually.
Mitchell Field.
Yeah.
No, it's in Long Island, but it's
Well,
still Brooklyn.
Brooklyn is on Long Island.
Still considered Brooklyn at that point.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
people consider Long Island, Nassau, and Suffolk County. They don't believe that Queens and Brooklyn are a part of Long Island.
I know it comes across there.
Yeah.
So it was still Brooklyn. It's where Mitchell Field's where Lindbergh took off.
Yeah,
from.
Floyd Bennett Field.
Yeah. Lindbergh took off from. And
did he take off from Floyd Bennett Field from there, or did he take off from
Mitchell? He took off from Mitchell.
Roosevelt Field?
Yeah, Blake, can you check that? I know the Goodwill games were held in the stadium right there where I did the softball tournament.
Yeah, they built a beautiful, beautiful athletic complex there.
I did too. Yeah, and that's the softball complex where I ran. It was about a 120 team tournament.
Yes,
so
around the corner from where John Gotti lived.
Okay, so where did Lindbergh take off from?
Wait, hold on. Which was so? You want me to look up the location? I know you want me to look up the location of the Goodwill games. You want me to try and find like where the softball games were held in?
No. I want you to look up Lindbergh because that's where we're having a controversy of where that was.
Right.
At.
I don't remember if it was what became Roosevelt Field or whether it was Mitchell Field, named after Billy Mitchell, which is also Floyd Bennett Field now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the Goodwill games, I think, were in
98.
98. Well, I think they were earlier than
1998 Goodwill games created by Ted Turner.
Yeah.
It was held from July 19th to August 2nd.
Okay. I feel like there was one before that too, but I mean, they might have been building the stadium at that time because I was there in May.
Yeah.
But either way, getting back to Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
As you leave a Yankees game, at that time they played New York.
Start spreading the news.
And everyone was bawling.
Yeah.
As I was leaving, and I was at the game all by myself. I was traveling. I was doing this tournament, working for a company called Triple Crown, and I was like, wow! It was one of the most intense moments at a sporting event that I've ever seen. The only one I think that really topped it. Mike and I went to the Jaguars game, the first game they had back against the 49ers after 9/11.
September 11th. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was probably the most intense and really where I was proud to be an American. Like, I wanted to be a New Yorker when I was at the Yankees game and like feel what they were feeling at that game. And I was just jaw down and like, wow, this is so impressive of how much they loved Frank. And, so that's what I remember about Frank Sinatra and the time of his death was I just happened to be in New York at the time of that situation that I forgot the year. I thought it was 97.
Yeah,
but,
you're close.
Yeah.
You're close.
Yeah. So two things. One, so what do you think about the Mitchell Athletic Field in Uniondale? What do you think about? Okay, because that was used as a facility for the Goodwill games.
Yeah, that's someplace different.
Yeah, and secondly, why did they play the New York when the Yankees lose? Shouldn't it be Frank Sinatra's "That's Live"?
Good point.
Okay.
And also apparently I did hear I did look at some research, and apparently they originally played the Liza Minnelli version of New York when they lost, but then Minnelli complained because she's a Mets fan.
Baby, there you go.
Right,
the Mets who just signed Pete Alonso. Those New York Mets.
He can opt out after 1 year.
Yeah, sorry. That's fine.
Well, let's talk about their real star.
Well, now he's got somebody to protect him in the lineup.
Yeah, let's talk about the real star. Soto doesn't need anybody to protect him. He proved
It
that
certainly doesn't hurt.
He proved that when he was with the Nationals. All right, Bobby's saying it was Roosevelt Field at Garden City, New York.
Right. That's what I said.
But is it? What did you see? What did you see? Did Lindbergh take off from Roosevelt Field or from Mitchell Field?
Lindbergh?
And I don't think it was called Roosevelt Field at the time. Roosevelt Field is a big shopping plaza.
Yeah, it is Garden City. Let's see.
Yeah, that's where Roosevelt Field is.
Okay.
Which is Uniondale adjacent, which has nothing to do with this conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. So I've been talking about Mitchell Field and being wrong about it since 1998.
Yeah. Well, okay.
So I got that going for me.
All right. Cool. We're back.
It was Roosevelt Field. It was Roosevelt Field.
Yep. I know.
I've
I grew up there, man. Work with me here.
Well, that's why I brought it up.
Yeah.
I've only been wrong for about 26 years.
Well, I'm glad to bring you back. So we're still playing with musicians for a second here because there's a couple of interesting ones. So Buddy Rich, who was a band leader and a drummer, was going in for surgery, and I guess they asked him, as they ask everybody pre-surgery, is there anything you can't take? And I'm sure they meant like drugs, or do you have any allergies? And he said, yeah, country music. Yeah, he died. He died post-surgery. Yeah, not good.
Right.
And then the one that I kind of really like is a lot of people didn't realize that Glenn Miller, also a trombone player like myself, he was a little bit better, but he was the band leader. But he was also in the Army Air Corps, and he was in World War II, and he was over there. And I don't know if it was his band, but they're flying across the English Channel. And it was in the winter, and the conjecture is that the fuel lines froze, and the plane crashed into the icy English Channel, and everybody was killed because the plane broke up on impact.
Yeah.
But as he's getting into the plane, he looks over at a Colonel Don Bassell, and as he's getting onto the plane, he said, "Hey, where the hell are the parachutes?"
Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Evidently,
So that's how
he didn't make it to him, and if he did make it to him, he probably would have frozen the English Channel.
That's where we lost. Yeah, well, I don't know that they were even on the plane. That's where we lost them.
My music one, the only one on my list that's a music one is Mozart.
Okay.
All right, and Mozart's last words, "The taste of death is upon my lips." So he knew it was coming, and that was Mozart's last words, "The taste of death is upon my lips."
Well, I'm going to link Mozart with Gustav Mahler, another composer. Gustav.
Oh,
Another classical composer, Mahler.
I call him Goosey.
Well, you know him well.
Yeah.
You two went to high school together, right?
Yeah, me and Goosey.
Yeah. So he's lying in his bed. He's on his deathbed. He's unconsciously conducting an imaginary orchestra. And when he finishes, his literally last word was Mozart.
That was all it was
That's
Mozart.
it, Mozart. He was conducting an imaginary orchestra. He breathes his last, and he says Mozart on his way out of this mortal coil.
Yeah. One of the unique things about Mozart and Beethoven and Bach and all those is go back and listen to the sound that's behind Old Tom and Jerry. cartoons because there was no copyrights or none of that up until like the late 50s.
Right.
So it was kind of open game on music. But if you go to the cartoons that were done during the 40s of Tom and Jerry, and you just listen to the music, it is amazing at that point. I don't think people really understand what music goes behind a lot of those old cartoons.
Right.
All right, let's shift over to military. What kind of military / politics last words do you have?
I got a couple of French people.
Okay,
But
I got one Frenchman.
They weren't. You got a French woman too.
Yes.
Wait, hold on. Wait, so was the one talk about the French? Did they have their hand up? Then all of a sudden, when they start to die, did they raise their second hand to say "I surrender"?
Yeah, that's kind of the way it really worked. Except this guy won more battles than he lost.
Marshal Foch?
No, Napoleon.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Napoleon. So, and Napoleon, and I want to make sure I get this correct. So Napoleon, at the end of his life, he was basically going through the order of importance of his life. You want to take a guess on what his importance was?
Well, there's definitely a horse in there at some point.
Believe it or not, there was not.
Huh.
It was France, Army, the head of Army, him being the head of Army.
Right.
Because he saw himself as, as a leader, he saw himself as a
Military
man.
Okay.
And Josephine.
There you go.
And that was his last words were France, Army, the head of Army, and Josephine.
Good for him. Good for her.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, all right.
Well, if we're going to say, you want to say, I don't. I didn't do any military. I did a bunch of convicted murderers.
Oh, you don't have any politicians either?
Do I have a politician? Well, it depends on your definition of politicians. I have Julius Caesar. Some of the most famous,
Definitely a politician.
some of the most famous last words ever.
That too?
You got it, Brute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too, Brute.
Yep, that's it. But no, that's.
Did you know Julius Caesar couldn't whistle until he died? Bad dad joke.
I'm not going to even justify this.
Bad dad joke.
I'm not even
sorry.
I'm not even
I'm
going to.
apologizing to all you guys out there. Sorry about that one. All right, I'm going to run through some of my politicians and then we'll move on because I thought you had a couple of politicians.
No,
Then we'll go to murderers.
Right. No, I've got Marie Antoinette as you do, and then Thomas de Maillet, who was trying to get them out of there, and it didn't work out so well for him.
All right, I got to do General John Sedgwick. You have any idea who General John Sedgwick is?
Edie's great grandfather.
May have been, but I don't have that in my notes.
Okay.
He was a Union general
I don't even recognize the name.
during the Civil War, and there were people shooting from a long distance away, and he was making fun of his soldiers for ducking.
Somewhere the big schmuck is lighting up on the scoreboard.
Right before his demise, he says they couldn't hit an elephant from this distance. Yeah, it was in the Battle of Spotsylvania.
Spotsylvania.
Spotsylvania. That's it.
Yeah, Spotsylvania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Battle of Spotsylvania.
Yeah.
I think I walked through Spotsylvania when I was walking to D.C.
I think you might have. Yeah.
Is that in Virginia?
I believe so.
Like
It's a weird name. I don't think it's it.
Spotsylvania County, Virginia.
Yeah, okay. There you go. Yeah.
The Battle of
Right on your way.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was right on the trek of where it was. But I mean, how do you think his guys actually went? Did that just happen?
I think his guys just went that way as soon as it did. Said, he's dead, let's go.
I'm going to keep ducking.
Right, exactly.
keep
Can I
ducking.
crawl my ass out of here?
Yeah, so you may have been close to walking near where it happened because
I think I walked through Spotsylvania County.
Okay, because you're right. Because Spotsylvania County is in the red marking here, and here's US 1.
Okay.
So you may have gotten in there.
Yeah, I would have been on US 1 through Virginia for the
So
most part.
so it didn't go through. US 1 didn't go through Spotsylvania County.
Oh, it did not. Okay,
did not.
So I had to
Did you
I
follow
saw the signs.
Did you follow the road while you were walking?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was walking on it.
Yeah, I was walking on US 1.
Right.
I actually was only on like basically 4 or 5 different roads. I had to take some side roads and stuff like that. So I went US 1, and then I picked up 15 across A1A, then at 15 across South Carolina, and back to US 1. And at one point, US 1 and 995 connected around North Carolina.
Okay.
I think it was around Apex, North Carolina, in that area. And I ended up being on a 8-lane major highway in a rainstorm. And Blake, can you see if you can find that area? I mean, your mapping skills are amazing.
Yeah,
How long
let's
did this
see.
trek take you?
Let's
It took me
see.
39 days.
Okay.
You
My
were.
feet grew through 2.5 sizes.
Let's see.
Um,
Was it in
Ow.
Raleigh? Maybe.
Ow.
It might have been near Raleigh. Yeah, I think it was.
So you went inland.
I think it was Apex. I think it was Apex. If there is there an Apex suburban.
Let's
city
see.
around
Let's
there?
see. Apex, North Carolina. You are in South. So basically, you are on. Basically, US 1 goes into. Let me pull up a map here.
Davey.
US 1 goes into.
Hi, Davey.
64. US 61 that goes into I-440.
Okay. I was on a major highway in that area, and it was an incredible thunderstorm, and a highway patrolman pulled over and said, "Hey, you can't be on this road." And I was like, "I'm sorry. You just turned in." He was like, "I was on US 1.
Right.
I turned into this." He's like, "Yeah, I know it happens." And he actually gave me a ride to the
There you
intersection.
go. All right, that's nice.
So I was like,
It's just, right. Better to give you the ride than to have to write up the results.
Dude,
Good. That's better for all of us.
Hold on. Who's in the backup car that could have picked you up?
your uncle. So Anthony was my support guy.
When did you do this? How old was Anthony?
Anthony was in college, or maybe fresh out of college. So it would have been, it was in 2012
Okay.
when I did the walk. Blake probably did about 30 to 40 miles with me. My friend Jeff, I don't know if he's watching, he usually watches, did probably close to 100 miles with me. And Blake was probably second after Jeff on doing 100 miles with me. But I had support vehicles with me. Mozart Ford was one of my sponsors.
Nice.
They provided me with a Ford Escape. And I always had them ahead of me instead of behind me, so I could walk to them, get whatever supplies I need.
Got a great photo of
Do
you.
my backpack. What was that?
Got a great photo of you.
Oh, there you go. There you
Yeah.
go. Walking with Troy, or Walking for Autism. But I still have an active Facebook page called Walking with Troy. And it was an amazing adventure for those 39 days.
I'm
But
sure.
I don't think I would have made it if it wasn't for FaceTime.
Okay.
I was able to see the boys only once during that time. But with FaceTime, I was able to see them almost every other day, or on a regular basis.
Right.
So I can tell you right now, that was probably the hardest part, is being away from the boys. Because 2012, like you would have been what, 12 years old?
I would have been 11.
Huh? 11 years old. And it was during. I can tell you this. It was the time that the Daytona 500 was canceled because of rain. Is the day I took off.
Okay.
All right. Daytona 500 was canceled
Right.
because of rain. So I started my journey in pretty much a torrential downpour. Mike
So you started off wet.
Mike and the mayor of the city of St. Augustine Beach both walked with me the first day. So those guys kind of got me north of town on my very first day. That exact same day, all right? So 2012, that exact same day, I walked 18 miles that day, all right? And then I got home because I was able to drive back home, because I would stay in hotels at night, and then I put a little American flag down from wherever my pickup point was, and I went the next trip. That exact same day, I walked from my house to the White House. I went to the All-Star game in Orlando. All right, and our seats
For
were
what sport?
basketball.
I was going to say.
So Blake, what was the exact day? 2012 All-Star game, 2012 Daytona 500.
Well, Daytona 500 is usually in February.
Yeah,
It's
let's see.
February like 25th or something.
Yeah.
Oh, my birthday, George
2012
Harrison's.
Be All-Star again. That's February 26th.
February 26th. And I got there, I was able to get to my seat, and then I sat for 2 hours. Now, you got to remember, I walked 18 miles that day, and now I've driven to Orlando. I couldn't get down the stairs. What I learned that night is the best way to walk downstairs when your thighs are on absolute fire is you walk down backwards.
Yeah.
And it was the only way I could get down. And people were looking at me like I was absolutely insane. We're talking 20,000 people leaving all at the same time. And they're like, what is this guy doing? And I had to walk down backwards because my legs would not allow me to walk down the steps forward.
Yeah.
So, but it was an amazing trip. I got to see and meet incredible people. Blake got to spend a lot of time with us. We had a wonderful time when we got to D.C. I actually got to D.C. a day early. I only ended up walking the last day because I had to wait for my family to get there. And we only walked 1 mile into D.C. To make it into where the White House was.
Okay.
So it was kind of cool. It was pretty amazing. I walked through. I got hit by a tornado. I had to lay down in Daria, Georgia,
In a ditch.
And watch it go in front of me about probably a half a mile in front of me.
Probably frightening.
Yeah, it was. There was a pucker factor there.
I'm sure.
I'm laying in a puddle of water and just kind of. I had a complete rain suit on.
Okay.
But it was pretty intense.
Okay.
And my person who was my volleyball partner at that time, Bill, he goes, "Where you at?" I was like, "I walked past you like an hour ago." He goes, "I didn't even see you because it was raining so
that hard. Yeah.
It was raining so hard he never saw me. So that could have been my last words. Oh shit.
Yeah.
So
And W was president.
2012, that was Obama.
Yeah, it would have been Obama.
Obama was in by then.
Obama.
Yeah. It was
September.
It was 20.
Oh, that's was the election was in. The election was in November.
Yeah.
Oh, he went in 09. Obama went in 09.
Yeah. So.
Oh, I'm conflating 2011 with 2001.
Here.
Pay no attention to me.
So basically,
numbers.
so history lesson. So I believe 2008 it was Obama beat John McCain. 2012 it was the start of the primary season, I believe. So
Mitt Romney.
Mitt Romney eventually won. Just out of curiosity, did you happen to run into like any rallies during the time of the walk?
Oh, in Georgia, I was walking through this beautiful park, and I think it was in Brunswick. In Brunswick, Georgia, I'm walking through this beautiful park. Wonderful, nice people. Just incredibly, super nice people. I didn't know it was a political rally.
Yeah.
And I'm walking through, and I'm a pro-choice guy. And I was walking in the middle of probably 500 people that were pro-life. And I had to figure out how to get away from the rally without offending anybody. Because they had organized, and here I am, this one guy with a walking stick trying to get the word out about autism. Completely different message. But they were super sweet. I probably walked with them for like a mile before I realized
what you were doing,
what the rally was all about.
So you accidentally walked through a March for Life rally.
Yeah, I actually participated unknowingly in a pro-life rally. So, and I bet I walked 15 to 20 minutes with them through it was a beautiful park in Brunswick. I believe my Uncle Steve was my, because I switched out my support drivers. Because, 40 days is a lot to ask for somebody to stay with you. So I had switched out my support drivers. And my Uncle Steve was my support driver. And he was dying laughing when I told him this story. So it was really, really funny.
Okay.
So, but that was I think it was in Brunswick, Georgia, where that was at.
Go.
All right. More military stuff that I saw out there. Actually, this is more politics. We talked about this on the show. Thomas Jefferson still survives. John Adams died a couple hours before Jefferson, even though Adams thought Jefferson was still alive. And this was on the 50th anniversary
of the Declaration of Independence on July 4th.
On the 4th of July.
July 4th, absolutely. Some things just have a tendency to work themselves out.
All right, and the last one that I have actually I have two. I only regret that I have one life to lose for my country.
Nathan Hale.
And the final one is George Patton.
Oh, okay.
George Patton, the war was over, He got hit by a Jeep.
Yeah.
He was dying of complications. I thought he died out in the field after
The car crash? Yeah, no.
But he died
Yeah.
almost a month later.
Yeah.
And he said, this is a hell of a way to die.
Yeah, and the conspiracy theorists are still wondering if they took him out.
They thought it was kind of friendly fire.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I do have somebody here because I do have the I die hard, but I am not afraid to go. Who said that?
I don't know.
George Washington.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
All right,
so
let me do some reads real quick.
Sure.
Coquina Coast Realty, give us a call, 904-669-7901. Kaiser's Deli and Market, get over there, try the Bollox. Tell Kirk we sent you over there. Amazing. You will not be disappointed. Wonderful, wonderful food. St. Augustine Pirate Museum, if you have not been, where the hell have you been? Get your butt over there to the St. Augustine Pirate Museum. Abare, Kresge and Associates, it is tax season. Don't think you can do your taxes and save yourself money. Spend the money. Get with the professionals. They'll take care of you. They'll make sure you get it right.
yes.
All right, Meehan's Irish Pub. Talk about how amazing they are.
It's amazing. That's all I have to say. It's just go, you know? You want a good meal, you want a good cocktail, you want some Irish whiskey. They've got live music inside, outside. It's beautiful. The porch up top, great view of the bay, and if you can time it to a rocket launch, you ain't going to do yourself wrong.
Yeah, I can tell you this. You were talking about amazing drinks. If you want an amazing drink, this is where you go. St. Augustine Distillery or Citygate Spirits. These guys know how to do tasting tours right.
Oh, yeah.
Citygate Spirits, I feel like I didn't give them enough love at the beginning of the show.
I got you.
I can tell you right now, it is an amazing tasting tour. They have incredible flavors. If you haven't been there, make sure you stop in and see them.
And you know, when you drink something that's flavored, a lot of times they're artificial flavors. I don't believe anything they use, and I may be mistaken, but I don't believe anything they use in an artificial flavor, because the flavors are so true to life. They're so great. It's just wonderful, and they mix beautifully.
Yeah. All right, getting back to it. One other one that I left off, if you count them as a politician, which you have to do, is Winston Churchill. Did you see what he said?
I did.
All right. His final words were, it was just at the end. He knew he was done. And he just basically says, I'm bored
Yeah.
with it all.
Yep.
I'm bored with it all.
Yeah.
So,
After everything he did, that's just, Okay. All right. Now I have some interesting ones.
okay.
And I can tie it into the military with Harry Breaker Morant. If you just do, you lose the Harry. There's a movie called Breaker Morant,
Okay.
which is Brian Brown's first movie. Brian Brown of FX and other things like that. I don't mean the TV show, but the movie. He did a couple of them. Australian fellow. And Breaker Morant was an Aussie who joined with the British to fight in South Africa during the Boer War.
Okay.
And he was given an order that take no prisoners. And he took that order seriously, and he shot a bunch of people that were prisoners because there was take no prisoners, and he shot them. So he got, brought up before charges, and he was condemned to death. So as the firing squad is lining up, he goes to them, shoot straight, you bastards, don't make a mess of it. Those were his last words, but it's a great movie, Breaker Morant. It's a real tearjerker when you come right down to it. But if we're going to stay in the land of firing squads and capital punishment, there was a gentleman by the name of Erskine Childs, who in 1922 was an Irish patriot. He was standing before a firing squad, and his remarks to them, his last words were, step forwards, lads, it'll be easier that way. They didn't want to miss.
All right. So we're sticking with people on their death row.
I got a couple more. Don't stop me now.
Marie Antoinette.
Okay.
Talk about that one.
Yep. Okay. Marie Antoinette, as she's being led to the guillotine, not the gallows, the guillotine, steps on her executioner's foot. And she looks at him, and her last words were, excusez-moi, pardon me. I did not mean it. She didn't mean to step on, she stepped on his foot.
She stepped on.
And she apologized.
I did it not on purpose.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I did
So
it.
now,
She was still polite at the end.
absolutely, absolutely. So there's a guy by the name of Thomas de Mahay, M-A-H-Y, who is the Marquis de Favre. And he was a royal who
You
was,
have something stuck in your
I do. It's a little
Flavla.
it's a little Flemish.
Flavla.
We're not bringing Belgium into this, however,
Okay. All right.
because there's all sorts of percolation going on there. That's a story for another day. So he, along with the Comte de Provence, who was the king's brother, Louis XVI's brother,
Okay.
were working on a plot to spring him,
Okay.
Marie and the king. And all of a sudden, the plot gets revealed, and the frickin' king's brother, the Comte de Provence, rats out this poor guy, Thomas de Mahay, and goes, no, it was all him. So they grab him, they get him, and as he's reading his death warrant, which is the last thing he gets to see, he goes, his last words were, there's three spelling mistakes in this, and then they lop his head off.
Yeah.
So screw me, screw you.
All right. So I don't know if you watched the morning show today.
I did not.
Okay. So in 1952.
I hear it was quite an interesting one, however.
Well, we really had a story of nothing.
A little riff.
But
Yeah.
the Stodom stat today was today in 1952 is the day King George the Sixth
Passed away.
died.
Yeah.
Elizabeth became queen.
Correct.
Making her one of the longest running monarchs in history. So, but King George the King's Speech.
Yeah, absolutely. Great movie. Great movie.
If you have
Truly enjoyed that very much.
you really need to watch the King's
Yeah.
Speech. Have you seen this King's Speech?
I have not.
All right,
You
I
of all
want
people should.
I want you to watch this.
Absolutely, Blake. It'll be
I-
informative and wonderful.
I want you to watch this movie. So, and I want to say hi. I have my cousin from Tennessee watching in, and I have my nephew from DeLand watching in. So I love the fact that I got family hanging out with us and watching in, and he just said hello to you also, Blake. The other Sam in our world. My nephew is also named
Okay.
Sam. Blake and I are also named Sam. So
Yeah.
after my grandfather, Sam Pizer.
So in that case, hi, Charlie.
Yeah.
We're doing shout outs to friends and family.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
All right, but I'm coming back to executions.
okay.
So there was a guy by the name of John Arthur. Speaklunk.
Spinkalink.
Yeah.
It was John Arthur Spinkalink.
Right, who was-
Florida. He was executed in Florida.
It was in 1979. Right, exactly.
I was
yeah,
in sixth
yeah,
grade.
Yeah.
I remember this, and actually, there's some video out there. His leg splits apart. It's not pretty what happened with
Right.
old Sparky and him.
Right, but he was not happy about this, and for weeks before his execution, he would write on envelopes. Anybody did everything he did he write? Capital punishment means those who don't have the capital get the punishment.
He murdered like a family.
I'm not saying that, but
Spinkalink
fine.
wasn't a good dude.
No.
Yeah. I'm
So
sorry.
so we did our Irish Patriot.
So
We
I can
did
tell
break
you,
him around.
Spinkalink, everybody kind of knows Bundy.
Oh yeah.
But in Florida, Spinkalink was. I'm sorry, I might.
I'm from New York, and I remember
Did
the
I give
name.
too much shine? I feel like I gave too much.
No, but I think your hat might be a little too tight. You got like a hat band
I have
mark
a
on
ring?
you. You do.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, but Spinkalink,
Gotta lose weight in your head.
Before Bundy came along, Spinkalink was like the Florida man that people were like, oh gosh, what a horrible human. And then Bundy came along and goes, hold my beer.
Okay. Not to be confused with the Florida Man Games, however.
No.
Okay, you just need to make that clear right now for my friend Pete Melfi.
Yes.
The Florida Man Games have nothing to do with the Florida Man Arthur Spinklink.
Florida Man games are amazing, wonderful, and if you haven't bought your tickets, make sure
You better. It's coming up soon. It's less than a month away.
But I can tell you right now, Spinkalink was considered a demon.
Yeah.
In '79
Yeah.
here
Yeah.
in Florida.
Yeah.
So,
All right, but we'll lighten it up a little bit.
okay. So, what was his last words again?
His last words were capital punishment means those without the capital get the punishment. So. All right. So it's not like it's his attorneys did a bad job and he got railroaded. By the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
right.
So there was a gentleman by the name of James W. Rogers who in Utah, and it's funny
Not to
because
be confused with Steve Rogers.
no,
America.
not Captain America.
Okay.
By the way, we now have the Falcon is now the new Captain America going forward
Yes.
in the new Hulk movie. New
Well,
Captain
that's who he
America
gave
movie.
the shield to.
Yeah. Well, but Captain America can fly now.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's very exciting.
Could always fly.
Right. So James W. Rogers, and it's funny because I was going to look up to see what Gary Gilmore's last words were, because he was Norman Mailer wrote the Executioner song, and he was shot by firing squad in Utah. But James W. Rogers was killed by a Utah firing squad, and they asked for his last request, and he said, "Yeah, bring me a bulletproof vest."
That's pretty funny.
Yep.
That's a good response.
But I got the best of them all. A guy by the name of James French. He was convicted of murder in
Not
19...
Mr. French.
No, again, not
Family
Mr.
Affair.
Not Mr. French.
Okay.
James French.
Okay.
Was convicted of murder in the 1960s, and he was off to the electric chair. So his last words were, "How's this for a headline? French fries."
Oh, perfect.
And that was he came up with that all by himself.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's a perfect.
I'm
headline.
kind of partial to
All
that
right,
one.
so and Blake works in the sports department at Flagler, and I played baseball at Flagler, and we had a pitcher named Kevin Gross, and he actually was my roommate for a couple years, and not a couple years, for a couple months, and then they asked me to move off campus for some weird reason. I don't know why I was asked to move off campus. I do know, but I'm not going to say. But I was asked to move off campus. But Kevin was my roommate. His name was Kevin Gross.
Okay.
We had a third baseman. His name was Greg Smell. They both had a really good game. All right? The headline reads,
I see where this is
Gross
going.
Smell wins game or dominates game for Flagler. Don't even say wins game. And it's Gross Smell dominates game for Flagler. And I wish I'd have kept that
Get that.
headlines. Because they're both friends of mine that I played, teammates of mine, and I thought that was probably one of the funniest headlines I've seen.
Well, I'm thinking that, in staying with the topic of dead people, the newspaper's morgue should have that headline in that paper. You should be able to get a copy of that.
Yeah.
So,
No,
because that's what they call the repository for the old papers is the morgue.
yeah. Well, and I don't know, you weren't here.
No.
So when we did 100 years of the St. Augustine record,
Okay.
they screwed up the headlines on the front page. They screwed it up. It was supposed to read 100 years. And Blake, if you can find this, I think it's still out there on the web there. If you can find 100 years, it was supposed to read 100 years of public service.
Oh dear. Left out the L?
They left out the L. It went to proof, it went to everybody else, and it went out to the public.
And that just shows you
100 years of pubic service.
right. Your brain works different than your eyes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you knew what you wanted to read,
Right.
but that's not
Yep,
how it really
yep,
works.
yep.
All right, I have some fun ones here. I have 3 left.
Good. I'm going to save mine.
I
I'm
have-
going to save mine for the last then.
All right, I have Jack Daniels, DiMaggio, and Steve Irwin.
Okay.
All right, which one do you want?
I'll take them all because we got a couple of seconds.
Okay, come on. I asked a question. That's
I'll
a
just-
Democrat answer right there.
Fine, do
I'm
Steve-
not going to give you an answer. I'm going to leave it up to you.
Do
and then
Steve
I'm gonna
Irwin.
blame you. I'm going to blame you for it.
Do Steve Irwin. I'm hoping it's more than just ouch.
Okay, it wasn't just ouch. In this one, Steve Irwin, a
Crocodile hunter.
crocodile hunter, tough son of a bitch.
Didn't even get hit by a crocodile.
He didn't get hit by a crocodile. He was in the boat, and he got impaled by a giant,
Ray, wasn't it?
stingray, whatever you want to, manta ray, whatever you want to call it. All right, and he jumped off the boat. All right, and they were saying, "Don't jump off the boat." But
He got stung on the boat and then left the boat?
No. He was going to jump off the boat.
Okay.
And they said, "Don't jump off the boat." He said, "Don't worry. They usually don't swim backwards." But he didn't take into account the motion of the boat.
Okay.
And the boat happened to be moving faster than the ray. And when he jumped, he actually landed
Oops.
on the ray. And these rays they're not aggressive
Oh.
rays. He happened to land and he spooked the ray, and that's how it hit him right through his chest.
Ow.
And, here, a tough son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And, just died way too early. All right, what you got, Blake?
This was a tweet from the Miami Marlins during a little beef between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Miami Marlins. They literally just went in deep and said, "You're literally the animal that killed Steve Irwin. Log off."
Oh, that's just cold. All right, so more fun.
Okay. All right, keep going.
More fun. We both love sports.
Yes, sir.
Joe DiMaggio, you know his last words.
I saw him, but I don't remember.
All right.
Marilyn?
Yes.
Could it have been Marilyn?
Yes. His last words actually were, "At least I get to see Marilyn."
Okay.
So he was married to Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
And, he through all her dark stuff and stuff like that, he still and never lost his love for Marilyn.
The church where they got married in San Francisco in North Beach is, a space for people to take pictures and selfies.
Yep, it was. I finally get to see Maryland again.
That's good for him.
The actual words.
Gee, I wonder what Arthur Miller's last words were.
I don't know. But this one's
Joe, get out of the way.
this is important to us.
You got one more. There was three.
Jack Daniels.
Thank you.
Do you know what it is?
Cheers.
One last drink, please.
Good job, Jack.
Jack Daniels, his last words were one last drink, please. All right, you got the last one.
All right,
Go
good.
ahead.
All right, so Roald Dahl, who you reminded me today wrote for Playboy before he started.
Did Charlie in the Chocolate Factory.
And it was wasn't did he do the Giant Peach?
He did the Giant Peach. He did Matilda.
And he did Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Did he do? I don't think I knew he did Chitty.
He did.
Chitty.
Oh, absolutely. He did Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Yeah, absolutely. Was he Willy Wonka as well?
Yep.
Okay. So he's on his deathbed. He got progressively worse. He had some very, very rare blood cancer. And he's in bed and he's fading. You know, they did everything they could. And the blood cancer is now overtaking his body and there's nothing they can do for him. And he's in bed and he's fading. So he said, you know, his last words were, I'm not frightened. It's just that I'll miss you all so much. At which point he closes his eyes, and the nurse that was there with them gives him a shot of morphine to ease himself into his passing.
Yes.
And as she sticks him with the thing, his actual last words were, "Ow, fuck!"
So she was trying to ease his pain.
Right, and he popped
She was trying to do the right thing.
he pops his eyes open when the needle jabs him, and he goes, "Ow, fuck!" And those were his last words.
Yeah. Here's a guy who's probably written some of the most important children's stories.
Yep.
Who also wrote for Playboy.
Right.
And his last words are "ow, fuck."
But I couldn't think of a better way to
there's
end
more
this.
people that end their worlds with "ow, fuck"
Right.
than
Yep.
the other quotes that we've given.
Yep.
So
just thought that was brilliant.
Here's a dark question. And it might be a little too deep for this, but what would you like your last words to be?
He mattered.
Yeah, he mattered.
I mean, we can say that for you right now because
Yeah.
you matter. You matter. My Saint Troy over here, you matter very much.
I don't know if I matter.
To a lot of people in this community and the world, you certainly do. You do much good for the world.
Well, there's so many things that need to happen, and hopefully I'm a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
But the most important thing for me is, man, I hope I was a good dad.
Well, there you go.
That's the one that matters
Okay.
the most.
Okay. Yeah. There's a couple others. You know, when you get a chance, look up Albert Hitchcock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
He was an interesting one.
Okay.
I didn't write it down, but it was something to the effect that, I'm not really worried about this going into the afterlife. I don't know what's going on, but apparently the Catholics know, or I'm paraphrasing.
Uh-huh.
But
The Catholics know.
well, the Catholics have some idea, yeah.
I'm screwed.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I really appreciate you guys joining us. It was amazing. I saw some amazing people in there. If you would, please hit that share button and go support our sponsors. We have a new sponsor coming in next week, we hope.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, so that's a wonderful thing. We can keep doing this, but those sponsors are the reason we get to keep doing this. Thank you, Blake, for pushing all those buttons. Lenny, amazing job.
Pleasure as
Hopefully
always.
you learned a little bit. Hopefully you laughed a little bit. We're about laughing and learning. This is Bollox Talks and Tangents. We'll see you next week.